Portal's Numerology course, Module 2E, Compatibility Charts and Yearly Maps. This module explains how to create and interpret compatibility charts and yearly maps. Calculating compatibility. That title doesn't sound very romantic or friendly, like a robot decided to teach humans how to check compatibility. When meeting other people, if our intuitive senses are developed enough, we can usually tell at first glance or within 5 minutes whether or not we're going to get along. I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, and I'm a firm believer in having several soulmates throughout a lifetime, whether friends, co-workers, neighbours, or someone we met for 10 minutes at a bus stop. When we meet someone who sets off our radar in a good way, we can feel our spidey senses tingling, like we've met them before or knew them in a past life. The core elements that attracted us remain, even if personal quirks and annoying habits rub us the wrong way. Numerology is a great tool for learning more about ourselves and others. Using it to compare traits, tendencies, and the inner workings of our psyches enhances our understanding of each other. Apart from anything else, it's a lot of fun. In order to create a compatibility chart, the first thing you'll need is your profile, complete with everything from the personality to the yearly interpretations. Then you'll need to create a profile for the other person with the same details. You can make it simple by just comparing the personality, destiny, motivation, inner self and expression, but it's so rewarding to dig a little deeper. Who knows what you'll unearth? Once you have all the information, then you can begin creating the chart. Something simple like the one below will suffice, but feel free to create your own design as long as it has the pertinent information, or at least the information you're most interested in. If you're not interested in completing the modules about tarot correspondences, etc., then you won't need to include that info on your compatibility chart. While it's almost impossible to calculate down to the nitty-gritty how compatible people are in terms of numerological attributes, since there are countless combinations and subtleties, we can observe and analyse things such as the following. How many high-energy numbers are there in comparison to low-energy numbers? Does one profile seem to be more introverted while the other is extroverted? Do the personalities and destinies appear to be polar opposites? Are they motivated by the same energies? Do they express themselves differently, or do they seem to be opposing? Are their hidden tendencies surprising or even a cause for concern? Do the karmic lessons complement or repel each other? Are the arrows compatible in terms of completing or complementing each other? This list could go on, but hopefully you get the drift. What's interesting is the fact that opposites often attract, filling in the gaps for each other and making up for what the other might lack, and so on. Psychological imperatives underlie the reasons we might find someone irresistible or fun to be around, such as the quiet girl striving for a bad boy, or the party animal seeking solace in a nurturing soul. Understanding our patterns, analysing ourselves and being open and honest with each other is a great way to make sure we're on solid ground when it comes to relationships and getting on with others. If you're a 7 personality who usually prefers to spend time alone with your books, you might find the prospect of being with a 3 personality alarming, especially if they're loud, gregarious or unpredictable. Alternatively, you might yearn for the same kind of energy the 3 offers to lift you out of a funk, and the 3 might find your sedate nature a comfort. You could be an 8 destiny who loves the high life and abhors domesticity, but then you meet a 6 destiny who melts you with their smile and selflessly offers assistance when you need it most. We need to remember that there's always room for change. Task 22. Think of someone you'd like to compare numbers with and create their profile. You can keep it simple as mentioned above if you don't want to go deep, such as creating their life cycles and pinnacles chart or the yearly interpretations chart. Then fill in the compatibility chart in your workbook. What are your observations in terms of compatibility, clashes, or neutral energies? Write a few paragraphs about your results. The yearly map. This is different to the yearly interpretation chart since it highlights one particular year, including the days and months. It's a fun and simple way to track the energies for each day, so you can plan when to do things such as signing important documents, buying a home, or beginning a course of study. That said, I'd like to point out that you don't need to be a slave to checking the map every single day. You don't want to miss out on a golden opportunity because the map tells you that it's best if you stay home. Think of it as a fun guide, and if you can plan your activities in accordance with the energies of the month or day without upsetting the apple cart, there's no reason why you can't check it out from time to time. The yearly map is like a one-page calendar of the year, including numbers that are associated with each month and day. Calculating the yearly map. To start with, you'll need to know your personal year to calculate the numerical values of the months and then the days. You can either use an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheet, etc. if you prefer to create your own. See the yearly map below to get an idea of the setup required. You'll notice that this map includes 31 days, and there are some months that have less than 31 days, but when I asked my teacher Elliot about it, she advised that all that really matters is the flow of the numbers. So to show how to create your yearly map, I'm using myself as an example. So my personal year for 2022 is 2, and when I add 2 to January, which is 1, it makes 3, so that's a 3 personal month for me in this year. The same will go for February. When I add 2 for February plus 2, it equals 4. March is 3, so when I add that to 2, it's 5, and so on. And you don't have to keep calculating. You can see the flow of the numbers here, so you would just continue on, and when you get to 9, of course, it's back to 1. August is the 8th month. When we add 8 plus 2, it's 10, which is 1. So that's how you can check it. Now when I go on to check what days I will be having, my personal days, then I look at the personal month first. It's a number 3. When I add that to the first day of January, it comes up with 4. And same with the number 4, which is February's vibration for me. So when I add the 4 plus 1, it will equal 5. And then I can just keep going along the lines. It's always going to be just flowing on. 6, 7, 8, 9, and then back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If I want to check it to make sure the calculation's correct, then I just need to look at what the vibration for December was, 5, and plus the day, which is 1, so that's 6. So I know that's correct. When I come down to the second day of the month, for example January, 3 plus 2 equals 5. And so I will go on again. 2, which is the second month, is a 4 vibration for me. And so for the second day, that will mean 6. As you can see, it always adds up because each of the numbers flow on. So I'm going to continue on here, just adding the numbers. It's basically just flowing on. There's no more calculations to do once we've got the months, and we just add them to the day. And as you can see here diagonally, the numbers are matching up. That's another way you can check that you're doing it right. So again, for the third day of January, it's a 3 personal vibration or personal month for me. So when I add 3 to 3, of course, it's 6. And as you can see, the numbers are starting to flow on down as well as along. So I will go on. It's 7, 8, 9, and so on. And then I come down here, and of course, once again, the 3 personal month added to the 4 day is 7, and then we go on. Now, I'm not going to fill in the whole map, but I just wanted to give you an idea how to fill it in, and it might have seemed a bit seemed a bit daunting at first, but as you can see, once you get the flow happening, it doesn't take long at all. And once again, the numbers diagonally all match. If you get to a point where it goes, for example, here 1, 1 and 2, you know you've done something wrong, so you've got to go back and correct it. So that should give you a good idea how to fill it in, and then we're going to be going on with explaining what kind of day it would be. When you're checking to see what day, say you wanted to know what August the 3rd was going to be like for you, you would trace your finger down August and then along from the 3rd, and you'll know, oh, that's going to be a 4-day for me personally. Before you start filling in your map, it's a good idea to record the values of the months, which helps with calculating the days. For example, you can see here we've got January through to December, and for this person, each month had a numerical value, number 6 for January. They had a 5 personal year, so when the 5 was added to the number of the month of January, number 1, it added up to 6. The same goes for adding 5 to February, number 2, which equals 7, and so on. The calculation of the days begins by adding the number of the month to the day and reduce to a single digit where applicable. For example, when 6, the value for January, was added to the first day, then the vibration for that day is 7. The same goes for the following days and months. So for February was a 7 value for this person, added to the number 3 is 10, reduced to a single digit is 1. You'll see on the yearly map, check your course book, page 9, module E, that the numbers then flow on in order down each column for the months, up to 9, and then starting again at 1, and so on. As you fill in your map, you can stop every now and again to make sure that the months and days add up. Pretty soon you'll see a pattern where the numbers repeat diagonally. This is another way to ensure that you're entering the correct numbers. The Yearly Map Guide. The following information can be used for the days and the months. When you take the personal year and essence into consideration, you can flesh out the meanings of the energies and see what you're dealing with overall. In order to check the numerical energy of a particular month, check out the numbers you wrote above the months before filling in the days. When you want to check the type of day, trace your finger from the month down to the day you have in mind. So in general, the energies for each day are as follows. For the number 1 day, it's good for signing important documents and starting new projects. For the number 2 day, it's not good for signing important documents and there could be issues with emotions. For the number 3 day, it's good for social events, trips and creative expression, but scattered. Number 4, watch for obstacles, health issues or accidents, and there'll be practical solutions. Number 5, happiness, intellectual activities, pleasure, freedom and travel. Number 6, good for buying and selling property, family issues, responsibilities. Number 7, spiritual reflection and study, a good time to stay indoors and low energy. Number 8, self-assertion, confidence, finances, optimism and karmic events. Number 9, preparing for a new cycle, tying up loose ends and low energy. Now this isn't hard and fast. There could be other elements of each number for that particular day. For example, for the number 2, it could be great for working cooperatively with others. For the number 3, it's also about communication, but also spreading yourself thin. So you have to be careful to focus and rein yourself in on that day. For a number 6, it could be a musical opportunity, or at least getting into music on that day, and so on. If you revert or go back to the information that we covered in the module about the personality, where the base numbers are, you'll get a good idea of maybe some of the other energies that could be included in these days. Also, just to correct myself, it's not just for the days. These numbers are also for the months. So look at that when you're looking at the months as well as the days, and hopefully you'll be able to figure out what day is good for signing important documents, or good for study, or intellectual pursuits and things like that. So I apologize, I just wanted to add that in there. Task 23. Fill in the yearly map in your workbook and write any impressions you have about the days or a month of note for this year. Do they match the vibrations of the months or days in the guide?